Do you have a worse first day of school experience?
No. All my first days, I just kind of went with the flow.
Never had anything too crazy happen on a first day?
No, not on a first day. Throughout the year, yeah, but not ever on a first day.
What about that time when you went from middle school to high school? That transition where you're a big fish in a small pond, and now you're a small fish in a big pond. Do you remember that?
I do. It was actually a little nerve-wracking at first, but I had so many friends that, were on my bus and everything, so we all got off together and we kind of just huddled together and minded our business, didn't mess with the upperclassmen.
I see. Now, do you have any advice to somebody on their first day of school? All grades can be different, all circumstances could be different, but any general advice, first day of school?
I would say, walk in there like you that bad bitch, don't say much. Don't say you're a bad bitch, but have that attitude so people know you about your business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Have that, I'm nice, but don't cross me attitude so they know not to mess with you throughout the year.
Now, what about when it comes to cliques? I know in school, things can be cliquish. The jocks hang with the jocks, the nerds might be with the nerds, the rappers be with the that sort of thing.
Right.
How were you in school? Did you hang with a certain type of crowd, or were you the type of person that hung with different crowds or cliques?
So when I was in school, it was all like separated by race, really, in my school at least. So I didn't really fit in with the black girls, and I didn't really fit in with the Puerto Rican girls. I was kind of like the oddball. So throughout the years, it got to the point where I would rotate. I was a part of everybody's group. I didn't really have a set clique. I didn't like to be in a set clique. So.
Ever hung with the quote-unquote wrong crowd?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Worst experience of my life, they're all gone.
Any advice when it comes to the wrong crowd, or if people might be kind of lured in by that or wanting to be in on that? Or
so usually the crowd that you want to be in the most is usually the one that's going to do the most damage, really, because I remember like wanting to be a part of that group, and then I finally got into that group and my grades slipped. I was, at the dean's office all the time. I was fighting and it was bad. And then when they were, out of my life, everything just fell into place little by little.
Now, I know it's been a couple years since you went to school, but especially like high school or middle school and stuff like that.
Right.
But what would, if hindsight 2020, right? Mm-hmm. What would Big Bree tell Little Bree? Would there be one piece of advice just with school in general, from knowing what you know now? And maybe not knowing then what you know now, especially?
Big Bree would tell Little Bree, slow your roll and stop trying to grow up so fast. And enjoy childhood. Enjoy high school. Enjoy middle school. She was too quick to just want to get it over with, I swear.
Everybody always wants to get it over with quick, though.
And our parents always tell us, don't rush it, because once school's done, you're going to wish you could go back. I didn't believe it. Second week I was after being graduated, I was like, I'm bored. I should be in school with all my friends right now. It was terrible.
What about when it came to bullying or teasing? Did that ever happen to you? Did you do that on to others? How was it for you?
Actually, in high school, I was known for attacking the bullies. I didn't like bullies at all, so if I saw somebody bullying somebody else, I was the one that would say, okay, well, fight me, because obviously I want to fight. That person doesn't want to. So that's one of the main things people remember in high school.
Bullying's a tough subject nowadays.
Circumstances
could be different, but any advice when it comes to bullying? Somebody that has to deal with that?
If you're being bullied, honestly, I would talk to somebody, because I know that that can hurt you in many different ways, physically, mentally, that damages a person. But also, just remember who you are as a person, and that you're way better than them, and that person is probably going through some stuff at home and taking it out on you to make themselves feel better. So sometimes you have to stand up to the bully or ignore the bully. But if it's really taking a toll on you, talk to somebody.
There's been some tough headlines in the news recently about, kids I never even thought of, so young, committing suicide and stuff like that. Bullying's pretty intense now, I think, than it was maybe when I was going to school, and probably...
I think the internet has a big part in that, too.
Ah.
Yeah. Because bullying, a lot of bullies necessarily, they hide behind a camera or they hide behind their keyboards, but they won't say it in person.
Now, what about superlatives? Did you ever get any superlatives in school? Those are like those awards. It's not like a real award, but it's like...
I got class clown.
You did get class clown?
I did.
Okay.
That was it. I was always class clown.
Are you proud of that?
Yeah, but I also got nominated for the best smile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got nominated for that. And best hair.
Are you Are you proud of the class clown title?
Oh, I'm so proud. When I came home, my parents... I was like, look what I got. They're like, really? That's your award? I was like, yeah. They're like, not most successful. I'm like, I'm going to be that too. But this award right here is going to be the reason I'm most successful.
That makes sense. Now, what about like homecoming, prom? Were you into that sort of thing? Did you go to those?
I went with the wrong person. It was ruined. I mean, they could watch this. I don't care. But they ruined my whole prom experience, my whole homecoming experience. I wish I could relive it, but unfortunately, I'm 21 and I can't.
Now, there's multiple opportunities to go to homecoming or prom.
Right.
I mean, there's junior.
The one I cared about the most was senior year, and that was the one that was ruined because I went with the wrong person. And the only other time I went was 10th grade and 11th grade. And that was, you weren't a senior, so it was like you were just chilling. The seniors were having a good time. Can
you explain how it was ruined?
Okay, so he was a little bit on the controlling side. So, like, I couldn't go dance without having an argument afterwards. Or, like, I couldn't really, have a good time. Because, don't get in the wrong relationship, guys. Just don't. If he's controlling, leave. If he says you can't dance with your friends, leave. Sorry.
Now, what about, sometimes you see, like, popular people, celebs, they get asked to go to a prom way after their high school is over. Would you ever consider doing that?
I would take it in a heartbeat.
Like, if a fan was like, I really want to go with Bree.
I would.
To my prom.
I would definitely do it. I so would. But I don't think the high schools would allow it. Don't they? Like, they have age restrictions. Like, you can only take a guest up to this age. And I think I'm past that now.
I don't know. Sometimes you hear these stories, though, where, like, a big celeb comes and is somebody's date or something.
I hear people take their parents. I'm like...
I think Drake just went to somebody's prom recently, if I'm not mistaken, in Memphis. I think it was, like, one of his relatives or something like that.
Right. Listen...
I think they could make an exception for certain people.
I think so, too. If you want to go to prom, let me know.
Now, what about... I know this is probably far away for you, but what about when it comes to a high school reunion? 5 years, 10 years down the line, would you ever consider going back?
I think they're probably going to have one this upcoming year because it's been 4 years since I've graduated. I definitely would go back because there is so many people that talk down on me in high school and always, because, when I was in high school and stuff, I always used to walk around and say, I'm going to be famous. And I had maybe 4,000 followers at the time. I wasn't popping. So... I would go around saying, I'm going to be famous. I know I'm going to be famous. And people didn't like that I would do that. They looked at me as, oh, she's, all talk, this, that, and the third. And then it happened. And all the same people that were saying all that stuff about me were all of a sudden, remember we used to be in this class together? Remember we used to be friends? I'm like, no.
Do you think people would be surprised to see where you're at now, though?
Definitely.
I mean, with your following, continuing to get more and more popular.
I think so. The crazy thing is, out of high school, out of everybody that I was cool with, I probably only see a handful of people that actually comment on my stuff. Like, the rest of them, who knows where they are. I don't know, why people can't just support their friends. They disappear when the success comes, I guess. So.
But even your Instagram, for instance, you're at, almost 500,000 Instagram followers. Do you think people would be surprised to see something like that?
Yeah.
When they saw you at 4,000 or whatever back in high school?
Yeah, definitely. I think they'd be shocked. How'd you do it?